The point of this post isn't to gloat, it's to share my personal experience with body dysmorphia and disordered eating. There are times when I look in the mirror and feel as though I am God's gift to humanity. I just made a reference to God, but as a generic fence sitter, otherwise known as a confused agnostic with a disdain for organized religion, I dedicate a few minutes every day to thanking God, the universe, and whatever or whoever might be listening for the body and life that I was granted. Because reality as I know it can be completely chalked up to 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, and 50% pain, where 100% of my existence is determined by a heteronormative society dominated by a fear of aging and egregious beauty standards. We live in a system established by old men that hijack human biology for a profit motive, now sustained by algorithms and a corporate bottom line. Which means that there are some days where I look in the mirror and feel awestruck by my own beauty, where I look into the mirror and what looks back is a resume of my dedication and consistency. And then there are other days where I look into the mirror and all I can think about is the way that my belly protrudes at certain angles, where I get face to face with my reflection to make sure that my jawline and abs didn't disappear overnight after nearly a decade of exercise and thousands of hours at the gym. These are the days that make up about 95% of my week. But give me a second to take you back to 10 years ago. I am having an unpermitted conversation during a high school chemistry class where I am feeling my friend's arm and silently wishing to myself that my fingers would similarly fail to meet when I gripped my own bicep. I still hear the words echoing in my head, telling me that I would look so much better if I just worked out. Those were the days when I thought a six-pack was the solution to all of my life's problems. Now I am 8 packs in, and my life is only marginally better. Don't get me wrong, there are very real benefits to looking the way that I do, and I don't want to demean all the effort, blood, sweat, and tears that I put into sculpting this body, but those payments have never stopped, and the recurring interest is being paid by the obsessive compulsion to open and close my fitness and calorie tracking app every 10 minutes. As if I might one day discover the permission to exist in my step count or the depth of my calorie deficit. But on the bright side, maybe the constant stream of lustful glances that I catch will one day make me feel wanted and desirable. My body, my identity, my value, my reality can be conveniently summed up by the number of nervous stares that I get, the fixing of hair, and the moments where I am left wondering whether they were just being nice or if I happened to look particularly good that day. I constantly feel hypervisible, bound by eyes that I am compelled to believe hold positive regard toward me, since the alternative is to imagine that I am at the very least insignificant and at the very worst unwanted. So I have convinced myself with the unfounded belief that equates visibility with desirability, where desirability is measured by a long string of assumptions projected and moves unmade. Because breaking the silence and reaching out to see what might happen would break the contract that separates me from being eye candy to me as a possible threat. It makes me feel like a zoo animal, trapped in the walls of a transparent cubic flesh prison, bloated from attention and starved of affection, separated from the general public by a sign that says look but never feed. I am only permitted to exist in the reflection of a stranger's eyes, in the passing perversions of a silent bus ride, by the stares of drivers and pedestrians protected by laminated glass and the length of a crosswalk. Intimacy without interaction, consumption without consent, raunchy ruminations without remuneration. The price of admission for this approval is a desert of restaurants never entered and a ticket to a never-ending gallery of nutritional labels. Without the constant pain in my feet, the groan of my stomach, and the ache of my body, who am I? Is it irony or coincidence that the path that I chose is dictated by the number of eyes that look at me through a digital display panel? Am I celebrating myself or starved of meaningful attention? Will I ever get to experience the slow burn friends to lovers romance of my dreams? Or must I settle for the tedious conveyor belt of unsolicited DMs that do nothing to feed my insatiable desire for external approval? I don't know the answer to any of these questions, but if it's any consolation, one or both of the people holding hands across the street are looking at me like I am the ribeye cap on a piece of A5 Kobe that I would normally cut off and serve to my partner if I had one.